Hey there guys, SCL3618 here. Today we're taking a look at the brand new, as of this week, Athearn Genesis Tsunami 2 equipped BNSF Maersk SDP40F number 6976. I just got this locomotive within the past hour, gave it a quick track test, and now it's in front of the camera for you guys. So, quick disclaimer before we get rolling. First part, we're trying this out on a brand new Sony A6000, so the audio may be a little different than what you're used to. Part 2. Operation-wise, we're going to do a little running here. My layout is still a mess, so the real running will take place down at the Waynesboro Motorero Club in Goldsboro, North Carolina. So you guys get to see that in part 2 of this once I stop yapping. And lastly, I want to give a shout out to Tim at Main Model Works. Guys, if you're looking a great dealer to do business with, highly recommend them. You can find them on Facebook, their website. Great prices. Their pre-order pricing is some of the best I've seen. And unlike some of the bigger retailers, I like the fact they take PayPal. So I don't have to worry about a credit card debt building up. I can do it as I want and not have to worry about it. So, that's a little plug aside. Great guys to work with, and great price on this locomotive. So, without further ado, let's get cracking. Okay, so a little history on the 6976. So basically in the early 2000s, Maersk APM Terminals had just put a brand new addition in the Port of Long Beach. So to commemorate that, they had a big corporate gathering, big photo shoot. As a part of that, the railroads who they served primarily then, Norfolk Southern, BNSF, painted 2 locomotives up for the occasion. So NS sent the 3329, ex-Conrail, Maersk Sealand livery ST40, which held its livery until the mid-2000s when it was damaged in a coal chute loadout. So it was ruined by a black dip. 6976, on the other hand, this one has a little bit more of an interesting story. This locomotive at the time of the Maersk promotional materials was not running in the slightest. It was just basically got a fresh coat of paint, nice decals, and that was it. I believe they got the headlights on for the photo shoot, but mechanically this thing was not turning a wheel. The 3329 was doing all the heavy lifting. Now, fast forward, it would end up in Portland for a little while with a 4449, end up in Ogden at the museum there, and most recently down at the Nevada State Railroad Museum, where thankfully it is now in operable condition, still wearing the Maersk colors, albeit minus the decals. Now, would I love to see them bring the decals back? You bet. Will it happen? Time will tell. Okay, enough history class. Let's get down to the model. So, starting on the front end, what makes this different? First up, we have rubber MU hoses. This is a nice improvement. The tips are painted silver, as you can see. The factory McHenry coupler is about to get stripped out for a KD scale. The Maersk star and striping on the nose look awesome. This is very well done. Athearn, thankfully, has kept this pretty consistent across all their Maersk products. The biggest thing I should say, thank God they got the blue right. The last run of the Jeep 60Ms and the well cars, it was a weird green, almost a teal color, and it looked terrible when you put it beside some of the older Maersk locomotives. Trust me, with a 30-car train on my hands, I think I've been able to figure out what paint looks best on them. But no, thank God they got the blue right. It looks fantastic, and I'm very, very pleased with the color of this engine. Silver as well. I mean, end of the day, this is an inverted war bonnet with blue. You can't go wrong. But the party doesn't stop there when we come down to ground level. Well, this locomotive thankfully does, when you apply track power, have operable LED step lights. This is a nice thing to see. Printing on the side, very well done. The cab interior is a nice EMD kind of seafoam green. You can see that from the nose. I'll put the camera up so you can see it. Alright, taking the party to the roof. We have illuminated number boards. Yes, thankfully, they only stick out a little bit, so not as clean of a finish as scale trains, but hey, it's getting there. Great amount of detail. All the piping, the antenna lines, the ice skate antenna up top. Got a K3L horn. All the fan details looks great. The silver application up top is very well done. No paint bleed that I can tell thus far. Carrying on down the side of the engine, everything looks great. All the grabs are intact. The paint looks good on those. The safety striping. When I painted a blue box F45 years ago, when I painted a blue box FP45 years ago, when I painted a blue box F45 months ago, you know, I tried it, just a basic decal. Getting the balance on the stripe in the blue was a tricky part, but Athearn did it really, really well, I'm very pleased to say. So at the back, same story. All the decals are crisp and legible. The Maersk star on both sides is really well done. That's a plus in my book. You get your rubber MU cables, airlines, all the works. And that's pretty much it for the back end. Taking a quick pan down the conductor side of the locomotive, everything looks really good, as you guys can see. Fuel tank detail is something I did not cover. This is very well done. You got all the piping, the sight glass, all your valves that you'd have on the fuel tank is present here. Truck side frames, plenty of detail, the brake lines, everything looks really, really good, minus my front wheel that's derailed, but that's on me. So the only thing I can find wrong with this locomotive, and naturally it's an Athearn. Me and Athearn have a very colorful history in terms of consistency, missing side view mirror. That's it. I've looked in the box, cannot find it. It ain't going to bother me too much. I mean, I can go get a detail part if it's really a big deal. But beyond that, the locomotive is great. It weighs a ton, and very smooth driveline out of the box. So that was what concerned me more than finding my front handrails bashed in like I did on the Durham and Southerns 3 times over. So, safe to say, you get this one, just inspect it. I think you'll be happy with the results. Alright, so enough yapping about detail. Y'all know I don't like rambling on that for too long, so all you need to know in your Spark Notes course, locomotive is very heavy, detail is awesome, paint scheme application is fantastic. I can't find anything wrong minus a missing side view mirror. And that's very rare for y'all to hear me say about Athearn. So take it for what it's worth. This one wins in my book. And now for the other part, operations. So like I said earlier, we're going to do the basics here on the table, and y'all get to see it cut loose of the full Maersk train later on. So stay tuned for that. So just for fun, something only I would do in a product review, I decided to bring up my old Kato model from a few years back. To me, this was the pinnacle of the SDP40F before the big fella showed up. No, these two absolutely nail the prototype. The blue is awesome. The silver looks great. All the Maersk labels are intact and look awesome as they should. So just for fun, you know, we always mess with our different scales, but it's easy to forget, you know, just how big the difference is sometimes. Okay, so before I fire the start up, just a quick overview. This has got, of course, got Tsunami 2. This is one of the layer boards with the 645 block from the SD45s, SDP40s, F45s, and so forth. I bought mine with Tsunami 2 because all my other Maersk fleet is kind of Economy, Tsunami, and they kind of play better together. That said, if I had Loke and everything, it would be a Loke sound cell, no doubt. Loke in this locomotive, with as big as it is and as much room for a speaker, absolutely. But for what it is, you know, out of the box, not shabby at all. So I'll let you guys hear it for yourself and decide. Okay, so here's the horn and bell. I changed these in the from the factory default. Now for the notch up and notch down, we're just going to go F26, F27 for that. So they are spazzing out on the camera, but I promise you the LEDs themselves look great for the step lights. I'll zoom that in so you guys can see better. Alright, now we hit the headlight. So this one's a little wonky. You can see the top one's a little brighter than the bottom, but that can easily be fixed. Just get in there and reset the bulb. F6 number boards. So that's about it for the lighting demonstration. But before we move on, I know some of y'all are thinking, wait a minute, where are the ditch lights? This is a modern BNSF locomotive. You'd be right in your train of thought, but remember back what I said. 6976 was not operable. This locomotive just had pretty coat of paint, slap dominant, and decals. It was not an operating engine, therefore they didn't need to bother with ditch lights. Now that said, I do have an extra pair of ditch lights painted in Maersk blue sitting around the house. So don't be surprised if mine ends up with it just for fun, because that would make this engine pop so much more. Okay, so for a quick drivetrain test, going to run it back and forth. This is factory Tsunami settings, so no, it's not going to be as smooth as a scale trains, as smooth as a lock sound equipped locomotive without modification. That's just the catch-22 there. So we'll back it up first. Alright, so before I wrap this thing up, we're just going to cover price. Retail on this locomotive, I believe, was around $275. I paid on a pre-order price right between $250 and $260, which is more than fair. Overall, if you can find this locomotive, I recommend it. Anything Maersk, I mean, I'm going to tell you, buy it now. People always want Maersk, so you can sell it later if you really don't want it. But this is a beautiful locomotive, very well done, and I'm pretty happy with this purchase. So again, if you can find it, get it. If you're on the fence about trying out Maersk or old school BNSF, absolutely do it. A lot of people are afraid of bold paint jobs or something different. I love it. I mean, because it's like this. When you go into a club and everybody's got the same shirt on, what's the fun in that? You know? But that's just my taste. I like the wild, wacky stuff and just having fun. But as long as you're having fun at the end of the day, that's all that matters. So in conclusion, I think this is a good effort by Athearn. I'm really happy to have it in my roster. And I hope this review is informative in your buying decision, guys. I thank y'all for watching. I thank you for the continued support. Without y'all, I couldn't keep this going, and I really appreciate it. Until next time, this is SCL3618 signing off. you think you